I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Today I'm going to respond to an email I got from a friend of mine who asked me about an article that he read. He sent me an article that he read from Detroit Free Press. The title of the article is "Muslim Man Sues Little Caesars Claiming Halal Was a Lie in Dearborn." And essentially the import of the article is a Muslim man goes to Little Caesars Pizza, gets a pepperoni pizza. The pepperoni was supposed to be halal. Halal means, to put it simply, that it's qualified, it's blessed, it's okay for a Muslim to eat. And it was just prior to Ramadan, and it turns out that the pepperoni is not actually halal. It has pork in it, and for a Muslim, you cannot eat pork. And so they filed a lawsuit against the Little Caesars for $10 million. Now, when my friend sent me this article, they said, hey, why don't you do a video on this and talk about how this is the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. But I have to tell you, it's not the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen. I think that if you are running a business and you advertise something as being X, then the product that you deliver needs to be X. And if it's not X, if you have advertised it as being halal, or if you've advertised it as being kosher, then it needs to be that. If you advertise something as being fit for a particular purpose, then you need to take great pains to make sure that it is, so that consumers can rely on that. I don't think, now here's the other thing, I think that when my friend sent me this article, he thought that I might think a $10 million lawsuit is ridiculous, but in some jurisdictions, you're capped with whatever you ask for. So if you file a lawsuit and you say, I want $100,000, the jury comes back and awards you $1 million, you're only getting $100,000. If you file a lawsuit and you say that you want $1 million and the jury comes back with a verdict of $5 million, you're only getting $1 million because the lawsuit is capped at whatever you put in the ad damnum clause, in the request for the verdict, in the lawsuit complaint. And so when you see these news reports about this person files a $10 million lawsuit, this person files a $100 million lawsuit, that doesn't mean that the case is worth $10 million or $100 million or what have you. It just means that it's in a jurisdiction where if you don't ask for it, you can't get it. You're limited to some amount that you put in the lawsuit complaint itself. And so the lawyer that's going to file that lawsuit is going to pick a number that's so high that no jury would ever award it. Why? Because if he doesn't and the jury comes back with a verdict that's higher than what he put in the complaint, then his own client may have a legal malpractice claim against him. So I don't think there's anything ridiculous about this article. What I do think is that the press gets a hold of lawsuits and they try and twist it and turn it, and they don't give you, the consumer, all the information that you need to know in order to properly evaluate what the truth is. So that's my 2 cents. I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. If you have a question about an article that you read about a personal injury lawsuit, or you have a question about your rights under the law, send me an email. I'm at ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com.